Twitch per gli amanti del live video e parlavamo di quanto noi europei ne abbiamo vissute veramente di tanti colori durante quest'anno e mezzo, se non di più, della Brexit. Volevo parlarne insieme ad Andrea, campaigner della 3 Million, organizzazione che, come vi dicevo, si è sempre occupata di tutelare i diritti dei cittadini europei. So thank you, Andrea, for being with us and welcome to London One Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now we can hear you very well. So, Andrea, since Brexit happened, can you please tell us what went well and wrong with the European settlement scheme?
Well, I think it's really important to remind ourselves that with the EU settlement scheme, we're talking about 6 million people, 6 million EU citizens and their family members that have now an immigration status under this scheme. And this is a very large cohort of people, almost the equivalent of 10% of the UK population. And we are all at risk now of the hostile environment and the repercussions of that. We're in a very specific situation where our rights are protected by the withdrawal agreement between the UK and the EU. But even then, we're seeing people every day whose rights are being denied and who are facing hostility when applying for or proving their status, and also when they're trying to exercise family reunion rights.
What do you think are the reasons why these people are facing this hostility from the Home Office or from the UK?
We can see a lot of common problems with other groups of migrants. So this is the system that we live under now, under the Home Office operating and us having to deal with that. So, for example, there's a huge backlog of applications to the scheme. So at the end of May, there are still 240,000 applications that are stuck waiting.
But the 240,000 applications are for the pre-settled or for the settled status?
They're people who have a pending application. So those include people who may have applied before the deadline, but still waiting for a first outcome, or people who applied late, or also some family members of EU citizens.
Quindi pensate che ci sono circa 240.000 application per l'European Settlement Scheme che devono essere ancora revisionate dall'Home Office, come ci ha dichiarato appunto Andrea, che potrebbero essere, molti di queste, addirittura delle richieste all'European Settlement Scheme inviate proprio prima della deadline. And so basically we have these people who who don't have any type of proof of residence in the UK. What are their feelings right now? I mean, are they scared that everything could happen for them? And the Home Office can also create any kind of situation where they need to go back to their countries.
There's a lot of anxiety for people who are stuck in this backlog. The EU settlement scheme is quite specific in terms of how people's rights are being protected once they have applied. So they're supposed to get a certificate of application to exercise their rights. However, this isn't understood by lots of people, by employers, by landlords, and when traveling. So in practice, although EU citizens who have applied have rights, it's very hard to exercise them. So we're seeing lots of jobs opportunities that are missed, renting opportunities that are missed, and also people just facing that really high anxiety of not knowing. There's no expectation management.
That's the thing, Andrea, because I'm thinking if there is like a person without the European settlement scheme, they also might face a lack of employment. So they are unemployed right now. Are you experiencing that?
some people can and are still working. Others are finding it really difficult to find new work and to exercise their rights while waiting.
And how many people do you think, I mean, for you that you've seen so far, decided to go back in order to avoid any type of, misunderstanding even with the Home Office? So they decided to go back and basically start a new life.
I think there's been a really strong feeling in the European community as a whole, and people have faced lots of additional barriers to keep staying in the UK during the last few years, especially if we think about everything that's happened during the COVID pandemic and people really struggling to find that this is their home in the same way. So we don't have numbers in terms of how many EU citizens decided to go back. But we know that right now there's a lot of people who have made the UK their home and are really struggling to exercise those rights.
Of course. I mean, what are the current projects that the 3 million is undertaking in order to protect the right of European people in the UK?
We continue to campaign for EU citizens and especially to hold the government to account. So we collect people's experiences and we are a voice for EU citizens who are protected by the withdrawal agreement. So one of our most popular and recent campaigns is still for a physical backup to the digital immigration status that we all have. Because we've seen since the beginning, since the EU settlement scheme was introduced, that actually a lot of people were afraid of the consequences of this digital-only status. And now we're seeing how that has impacted people in terms of those communities who are digitally excluded, but also people who have no problem with technology, but who still encounter errors in the scheme.
Errors on the scheme. In fact, I know, so many people suddenly they went to check their status online and then couldn't find any data anymore. So, I mean, you're campaigning to receive and to give to these people like a paper document as well.
Yeah, we think it's really important that we have actually a document that's ours, because every time we need to prove our status now, we need to basically ask permission from the Home Office. So our proposal is for a physical backup. So digital doesn't have to mean digital only. So we've put in a really detailed proposal for the government to consider. And we hope that those conversations are going to go on further. We think it would be really beneficial for everyone to have a similar system to the COVID passports, where you can download the PDF, you can print out a QR code, and then people can scan it quite easily. So that doesn't mean going completely away from digital, but it provides some peace of mind for people.
Yeah, if something happens anyway, you have like a backup of our documents that certify our rights in the UK. Thank you very much, Andrea, for being with us tonight. Really, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Ecco, come avete ascoltato, insomma, sono ancora tanti fardelli sui quali, ad esempio, l'organizzazione 3 Million sta in questo momento combattendo, facendo delle campagne. Ad esempio, una tra i tanti, l'abbiamo visto anche con molti italiani, insomma, che hanno affrontato simili situazioni e circostanze in cui, quando volevano vedere il loro status oppure aggiornare i loro dati sull'European Settlement Scheme, hanno riscontrato di non aver alcun tipo di dato registrato, cioè loro avevano fatto l'iscrizione e tutto per ricevere il pre-settled o il settled, e poi ad un certo punto questi dati sono spariti. Ecco perché molti di loro stanno dicendo: ma guardate, sarebbe meglio comunque avere un backup di un documento cartaceo, perché veramente se dovesse succedere qualcosa anche al sistema dell'home office, che ha riscontrato anche dei problemi, l'abbiamo visto che l'home office purtroppo addirittura aveva cancellato moltissime fotografie che dimostravano l'identità di molti europei che si erano iscritti, eccetera. Comunque una persona ha il documento, lo mostra e non si deve preoccupare di tutto questo. Ma la cosa interessante che è emersa poi da questa conversazione insieme ad Andrea, campaigner di 3 million, è che ci sono ancora 240.000 richieste per l'European Settlement Scheme che non sono state revisionate dall'Home Office. Insomma, ecco, questa puntata sulla Brexit, prima col commercialista e poi adesso insieme a 3 million, vuole proprio dimostrare che la Brexit ancora sta avendo delle conseguenze purtroppo non del tutto positive. Quindi questo è anche un modo per far emergere sia un po' le problematiche ma anche gli aspetti positivi dal punto di vista economico. Come ha detto anche il commercialista, è sempre possibile fare impresa, investire in questo paese, le possibilità ci sono, certo con un po' di ostacoli in più, ma tutto si può fare ed è possibile. Allora noi chiudiamo questa prima parte di London Calling, ritorneremo alle ore 19 perché con noi ci sarà l'onorevole Massimo Ungaro del partito Italia Viva. Parleremo della prossima apertura del consolato d'Italia a Manchester il 18 luglio. Capiremo insieme all'onorevole di che cosa si tratta, quali sono le funzioni di questo consolato, chi è il console, come verrà gestito il tutto, chi potrà ad esempio andare lì e chiedere diverse pratiche come ad esempio il rinnovo del passaporto eccetera, e se questo consolato può farlo oppure no, e insomma tanti altri punti di discussione e di dibattiti insieme all'onorevole Massimo Ungaro più tardi alle ore 19. Abbiamo anche alcuni vostri messaggi vocali che faremo ascoltare all'onorevole Ungaro. Se volete potete inviarli anche adesso allo 0758 6597 937 in modo che possiamo trasmetterli proprio in quella trasmissione. Quindi ci sentiamo più tardi. Intanto ancora andiamo, adesso mi dicono dalla regia, con le notizie flash dal Regno Unito e dalla Gran Bretagna, da Londra, e poi con l'onorevole Ungaro alle ore 19 UK time, come sempre.
Cosa rende Garofalo una pasta diversa? Le persone hanno una sensibilità speciale verso la pasta. Sono portatori di una conoscenza passata per generazioni da padre in figlio. Pieghiamo la migliore tecnologia industriale, ma vogliamo continuare ad essere artigiani e narrare da qui, da Gragnano, la storia di una pasta